Interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Interrupt.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dean Callan Show. I've got an epic show for you today. Well, I could say that. I'm hoping it'll be good. I kind of not really prepped much. I've got a few ingredients here. I still need to run out and get some mint. I've got my banana still uneaten. And as you know, we have way too many bananas in the house these days. There's just bananas everywhere. So today, I am going to make you a West Side Story, which is a twist on a South Side cocktail or a South Side fizz, I guess, from way back in the day, like way back when I first discovered eGullet and Drink Boy, and like basically, like right after like molecular mixology was kind of I found out about molecular mixology, so like 2003. I might have been late to the game there. 2003, 2004. Anyway, when I was on Hamilton Island, South Sides were a massive topic on the internet, and geeks were like, "Oh, did it come from Chicago?" People said it came from the Hamptons. I never really got a firm story as to what happened with that. But anyway, there was some geekery going on. So I got obsessed with South Sides and South Side fizzes, and you know, basically Hot Island, you have to keep making the same type of drinks over and over again. Nice, big, tall, refreshing, loads of soda. I'm going to make one for you today. Also, it worked because it had absinthe in the recipe. Earlier on today, now I tried to get a video of this. I don't know what happened, but when I go on Instagram, I feel like an old person, right? If you can see this, I'm going to try to add text to here, right? So like, if you can follow this account, Bar Monkey, and then like it's an underscore. God, how do I do an underscore on here? Right? This, right? So put right in the middle of the screen. There you go. So that name on Instagram, Bar Monkey, right? I was live on his chat show today. Oh, I haven't asked the question. No comments or reactions. I can see my comments now. So let me know if the audio is working. No one said no audio, and it looks like there's people on here. Whatever. Anyway, Bar Monkey did a quiz today. I entered in the quiz against Mark Thompson and a couple of bar industry legends. But like, I wanted to show you it. I can't get the video, so you'll have to go and check out his account. I don't know where he's hidden the video. He said it stays on his stories for 24 hours. Can't see it. There's too many bajillions of stories. And if I go onto his IGTV, I see like a couple of other things, but not the one I'm looking for. So, can't show you that, but I was doing that today. I'm going to start this show with a drink that I've spent years drinking. Like, consistently. Like, I must have had 2,000 of these. And today, oh wait, I might make it in my small little baby glass. Today, sitting in the sunshine, going on the Monkey Shoulder quiz, I was drinking Ginger Monkey, which is what I'm about to make you, or make me. You can drink it vicariously through me. Yeah, I sat there and I'm drinking it and I'm like, this is delicious. I forgot how delicious this drink was. It's not that I've stopped drinking it. It's just that I feel, because of, I can get rid of that now. Let me get rid of that. I feel sometimes that because there's so much stuff here, that I need to make fancy drinks. So I'll make stirred down really kind of heavy drinks, or I'll go out of my way to make like a special ingredient, a tincture or whatever, and make a special drink. But I'm actually super, especially since just sitting, chilling. Like, I've done quite a bit of computer work today, but when I got out into that sunshine, and I started drinking this, I was like, oh, I forgot how good this is. This is what it's all about. Right. So, monkey shoulder, plenty of cold ice, a squeeze of orange, and dry ginger ale. The orange kind of separates it from being Mamie Taylor. So for those of you that don't know the Mamie Taylor is Scotch whiskey, dry ginger ale, and lime. Created turn of the century, 1899, 1900, somewhere thereabouts. It was, before Prohibition, one of the biggest cocktails in America. Like, people ordered so many of them, apparently, as legend has it. Bartenders started hating on their guests that ordered these. Or the original, the Mamie Taylor. So they started putting the price up to make it super expensive to dissuade people from ordering the same drink over and over. People still drank it. Oh, that is tasty. Audio's working. Thank you, Diogo. Thank you, Electra. You guys are awesome. This is delicious. Oh, I love this so much. Right. So, I got 2 videos for you. I got a Mitch's Minute. Mitch woke up today. Mitch not only woke up, but he did an excellent Mitch's Minute, which I think leads me into a topic that I've spoken about many times with people after a few drinks behind the scenes, but I'd never said it on file or like written anything down that would give my opinion on this. And I think it needs to be said. So I might go straight on to Mitch's Minute. Let's see. Where are you? There you go. You ready for this?
Best bar story in a minute. Can't tell the best bar story in a minute. What about Dan the Dummy? Alright, so I was bartending on the west side and I'd had just fuckery for days. I'd had somebody order like a tropical style tiki drink off the menu, but wanted vodka in place of rum and then send it back because it just tastes like alcoholic fruit juice. I had 2 middle-aged white guys complain about skinny margaritas not being sweet enough, and I had some woman tell me that the Negronis weren't inherently bitter drinks. Anywho, some other guy was trying to flashlight my eyes, so I fucking called him out about it. I said, please don't do that. He says, don't mess with the Israeli Special Forces. I said, what are you talking about, mate? Commandos don't tell you people that they're commandos. Anyway, it escalates. I kick him out. He's out the front. He's yelling at me. He's telling me he's going to buy my mum and sell it to the Russians for $3 million. So we call my mum, and I said to her, Mum, there's a guy here that says he's going to buy you for $3 million and sell you to the Russians as a sex slave. And she goes, well, I might like to get laid. Who gets the money?
That actually happened. Mitch's mum said that. So knowing that I wanted to take notes on this, so I ran out and got my whiteboard, which I hang from the wall over there. It usually would have my notes on what I'm going to say today, but I more or less winged it yesterday, and then just stories came out, and I figure people aren't sending shit in, I'll just rant, right? It's my show. I can do whatever I want. So, right? I was going to write down, let's analyze what Mitch has said, right? So you got this dude, you've got the people coming in asking for a Mai Tai, I think that's what he said, and then remove the rum and have vodka with the orgeat and everything. I don't know if it's going to hold up against all those other ingredients. It's just going to be super sweet. Then you got people asking, what was it? Someone arguing that Negronis aren't meant to be bitter, right? Why? Why would you argue that? It's literally got bitters in it. And what was the other one? What was the other thing that he said that was like, skinny margaritas? What's a skinny margarita? If you take all the sugar out of a margarita, is it even a margarita anymore? Like, you've got lime in there. You need sugar to balance it, right? I would lose my mind. But having said that, right, I have dealt with, in my time, a great many, I could say, unruly customers. I could say customers that like, I'll start, which story should I tell? Right. I'm gonna tell the story of, you know what? I'll tell you, if you work hard on it, right? If someone says, we want to hear the Bundy Rum story, tomorrow I will do the Bundy Rum story, right? Tomorrow's Fun Day Friday. Also, I'm taking Monday off because I didn't realize it was a 4-day weekend. I'm supposed to have a weekend, right? My wife is taking a weekend, so I'm taking Monday off. I'm still going to do tomorrow because I planned Friday. I wanted to build up to Friday. Fun Day Friday is my favorite day. Friday, we're going to have fun. I'm going to have a barbecue with my wife, hopefully, if I can get my shit together and get some work done in the morning. Anyway, moving on from that, right. Tomorrow we'll do the Bogan story, right? Bogan walks into bar. Today we're going to do the last bar I worked in as a full-time bartender, legit, Kanaloa. So Kanaloa, I'm working in this bar. I've got a busy station, right? I'm like honkered down in my station. And when I hunker down in the station, I mean like you're up on your tippy toes. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Check this out. You ready for this? Hold on. Can I do it? That's the question. Can I do it? Let me see. Sorry, folks, it's not going to work. So anyway, moving on. Honker down on my station, busy, busy, busy. This dude used to come in all the time. My little brother worked there with me. He's working the station right next to me. This guy, like, I think he worked at Goldman Sachs or Deloitte or something like that. We're in the city. And he had tons of money, but he had, like, no friends. So he used to come in and like wave his money around and like try to make himself feel better about himself. But he decided that he really fancied my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and decided that he didn't like me because I was dating her. So he stood in front of my station for a whole evening, basically just ordering zombies over and over and over again. Like he ran up a massive bill, right? And he just kept telling me what he was going to do to my then girlfriend, telling everyone that came up to him what he was going to do. It was horrible, right? The guy was just trying to get a rise out of me. Now, I understood that what he wanted to do was get a rise out of me because he knew no amount of telling me he earns more than me, no amount of like trying to diss my profession, which he knew that it was going to be like water off a duck's back. He thought by going at me personally, he'd be able to get a rise out of me. And he spent his whole evening doing this. My little brother nearly killed him. He was flipping out. I'm like, no, Jan, no matter what this guy says, just smile, give good service, and then we win. If we rise or lower ourselves to his standard, he wins, right? Went the whole night. Now, it wasn't until like I started working as a global brand ambassador with Monkey Shoulder and traveling around the world, and I'd spent my entire adult life, from the moment I was old enough to be in a bar, I was bartending. Like I've always wanted to be a bartender since I was 14 years old. So with that mindset, if you're not a bartender yet, you desire to become a bartender, all you want to be is a bartender. It's like if you're driving a car and you want to be a Formula One driver and you're months away from legit becoming a Formula One driver or like a race car driver, like you don't know what it feels like to race in the Formula One race yet. Like that's all you care about. So every time I went out to bars, I was just completely distracted with the bartenders. I never thought about the night I wanted to have. I tried to think of what it's going to be like as a bartender. And then when I became a brand ambassador and I went out, I was watching bartenders bartend. I started to think, shit, like this guy's style's very different to mine, or this girl's like way faster than I am because she's neater and more organized. This person's drinks taste way better than any drink I've ever made. And I started to realize like, actually, I just like to sit at the bar. I don't like any other part. I like to sit at the bar. I've got this taste, I've got that taste, but I've spent 20 something years drinking. going out to bars, and I've been a bartender and a brand ambassador. I've had the good fortune of traveling the world seeing it. So I now would consider myself a sophisticated drinker. I know lots of drinks and I know what I want. And I realize, what's the difference between a student and like a doctor or a lawyer or a banker, right? Now, like me personally, my wife is a lawyer. I know loads of lawyers, and they're awesome. Some of them can be knobheads, but they're great when you get to know them. When you're a bartender and you're working in a situation where the bad ones come in that earn tons of money, the banker people, whatever, and they try to talk down to you, they try to belittle you, they treat you like you're nothing. They're basically students. They spent their entire life in school. They were students. They might have had a gap year. They were students for a while, going to college. They got their degrees. They drank like students the whole time. They had no money. They got way too drunk on crap. And then they graduated and suddenly got into a job where they're earning tons of money. And now they're working 80, 90-hour weeks. They're still carrying with them that drinking understanding that they had when they were students. Not all of them, but the bad ones that come in and act like wankers, they're just immature drinkers. So it changed the way I thought about people. It might not be their fault. If they're being nasty to people on purpose, obviously that's their fault, right? But it made me kind of see things differently. So I thought I'd share that after seeing what Mitch was talking about. Crazy bad, apparently the dude then tried to fight him after his mum laid it down. Crazy. All right, so no signal. What does that mean? I don't know what that means, right? I'm going to keep moving on. So, having said that, I thought about it and I'm like, right, the person I was when I was 18 when I first started bartending is a very different person to the person I am today. After all this time, after seeing the world, after drinking as many drinks as I have, and working in as many bars as I have, and seeing the drink trends change over time, I think I'm looking forward to the next 10 and 20 years of my career to see where I go and what I become and how my drinking habits change. Now, there's bartenders that have been around a lot longer than me, or people that have been in the industry a lot longer than me, and some of them have not always been to my taste, right? So, for example, everybody loves Salvatore Calabresi. I haven't hung out with the guy. So when I meet him, he's old school, he's Italian, he's kind of standoffish. I don't get fun, happy vibes from him. So I'm just like, oh, whatever. But last week I made a conscious effort to tune into what Salvatore's doing. And listen, because he's been around for 50 odd years and having a mindset of, right, I want to listen to what this guy has to say. And now he's on Instagram. So in case you didn't know, here's one of his videos. Again, I hope the guy doesn't get upset with me. I want to post the entire video out of respect for him because it kind of made me fall for him. I hope this is his house, right? Because if it is, it looks pimp. Look at the glass behind him and everything, right? So here's Salvatore, and he's doing, and also one of the things that made me think about it, I think it was Friday or Thursday, I was talking about, Friday, on Friday. I was talking about strawberry daculata and how I thought I'd invented a drink when I put a strawberry daiquiri and a pina colada together, but it turns out it was a Miami Vice. Right? I can't tell when that was first created. And I made a kind of derogatory throwaway comment about how, Salvatore created the breakfast martini, but, the marmalade cocktail already existed. Man, the guy probably didn't know the marmalade cocktail already existed, and there might be differences, right? And classics, as we learned with the Caipirosca the other day, I forgot how good they were. Honestly, that Caipirosca is still making me salivate just thinking about it, right? So here's Salvatore. You can imagine if he's been making this drink for 20, 30 years, he must be so good at it now.
It's been a long time since I picked my shaker up. So now it's time that I'm going to do one drink and I'm going to show how to do it. It is one of my signature drinks called the Breakfast Martini. I created this in 1996 thanks to my wife. You must know that I am a typical Italian guy who likes to have a coffee first thing in the morning. But my wife sees me first thing in the morning, and she always told me, why don't you have breakfast? And I always said, no, thank you. But one day, I looked worse than worse after a very busy night, and she didn't do no more. She brought me a toast with marmalade on top, orange marmalade. And she told me, have it. Now guys, if you're smart, you know when to obey. And I did. And thank God I did that. Because the bitter, tangy flavor of the marmalade was playing with my taste buds. So I didn't do no more. Kidnapped the marmalade, took it to work at the Lanesborough, at the library bar in 1996 again. And there where I created the breakfast martini, which has become to be one of the most iconic drinking, modern classic in the world, which I'm very pleased. So thank you, wife. I will always obey. Now, how do you make it? Obviously, we are home. You need ice. You can make ice at home. You can put just filter some water, or just get water from the kettle once it's boiled, and just make your own ice if you do. So it's ice. I'm going to be very, very professional. Chill the glass. I'm going to chill the shaker. Musica maestra. You're going to like this. My friend Peter Dorelli likes this. Now I'm going to start making it. Now, if you don't have a shaker, please don't disarray. Don't worry. You can use a jug. I've done this many, many times. Put the ice inside, put the drinks inside, and just shake. Now it's going to be, the drink is done with 50 milliliters of gin. I am the maestro, so therefore I don't use measure. But then if you challenge me, you ready? Guys, look at this. Perfect 50. Then 15 milliliter of control or triple sec. Fresh lemon juice, freshly squeezed. Again, 15 milliliter. And now the secret weapon, orange marmalade, a teaspoon, a good teaspoon. Before you shake, you need to stir it. So we're trying to dissolve the marmalade, because if you start to shake, the ice will crystallize the marmalade. So we want to extract the flavors of the marmalade. There we go. Now I'm ready to shake. Musica maestra. A great shaker. Look how cold it is. Obviously, it's my shaker. Strain in this beautiful glass. Can you see it? And now, an orange. Just the zest of orange, and that will squeeze the aroma, the orange. I can just smell it from here. Oh wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you my breakfast martini. Salute and keep safe.
All right, how good was that? He comes across really humble and lovely. So I, obviously I seen it. I reflected on my comments on Friday and thought to myself, you know what? Like, I was subconsciously, I just blurted out, giving a dig at Salvatore. I don't even know the guy. So I made a conscious effort then to go to learn more about him. And that video, like, so I'm going to break down some breakfast martinis on the show at some point. Right, before we do that, cucumber. I've been saying the whole week I'm going to make this drink. The reason I haven't made it yet was because I keep forgetting to get cucumber, right? So, and when I did get cucumber the one time, I ended up using it for a completely different drink. Right, so there's that. I cut the top off. I used to just, if I had the time, peel this by running the blade across that way. Let me see, can I get... Once I've got this, and you know it's a strict stick drink, right? So what I would normally do with this is I'd normally give it a little bit of a chop so that it's already broken up, makes it a little easier with the stick. And now you can't see it. I'll try one more time to get this thing to work, right? Does it work? Did you hear that crack? That was the remote breaking. Nope. Yeah, it's not working. Tomorrow, right? So I've now got a mount on the side of the bar, like clicks this on, right? You might have noticed it's not a muddling stick. It's actually a rolling pin. But this is what we used to use back in the day, like before the little muddling sticks came out. Because if you're muddling constantly, and I used to get a napkin, pick up the napkin would go over here, right? So the napkin stops any spray coming up. And I'd muddle into the smaller part of the shaker, doing that, and then 1, 2, 3. And you've got a clean, dry one of these. Not using napkins anymore because, you know, the environment and everything like that. So I might get some like fabric cloths to do the same thing. Then this guy, I now have a little click, ready? Yeah, and it stays right there. I installed that this morning. Right, so we got this. Next thing, start with muddled cucumber. Better to not have the green on. You just want that fresh cucumber flavor, and it has to be freshly muddled. Juice doesn't last long. The aromatics don't work. A couple of dashes of absinthe. You could put the absinthe in the glass, but I think it works better if it's actually in the drink, shaken all the way through, because then you can bring the soda in and folds it up. This, I'm going to do half a lime, and I'm going to introduce one of my cool vintage things. So this guy here, this brand is Vitapress 2. It's an Italian. You can take your juice or your citrus and like look how big it is, right? The lime fits in there quite easily. You can get a grapefruit in there, a golden, maybe a pink grapefruit of a smallerish size, completely juiced out. There's nothing left in that. Super easy to use. And the best part, juice a whole lime at a time. You can run 3 or 4 of those through and then have it sat at the side. I have it here. And now you got fresh juice for a couple of drinks. If you wanted to measure, you can measure it out like this. In this case, I'm putting 20 mils of fresh lime. And the leftover doesn't get wasted. As long as you use it within a reasonable amount of time, you've got juice. And it's one vessel. You're not cleaning up too many different things. Love that thing. I wish someone would bring them back. I know Martini had a branded one at one point. I'd love to see them bring it back. Or if anyone has tons of money and wants to do some point of sale items, some tools with me, that'd be great. Like, I got loads of ideas for tools. Right, so mint goes in. And then leave one piece because you want the aroma on the top. This one really does need the aroma. A little bit of mint, plenty of ice. I'm putting the ice in now because it's super mega cold. So I'm going to need to warm that up. Now, the gin I'm going to use today. Whitley Neal. Do you see what I'm doing here, folks? I'm trying to amalgamate multiple different things into one. I've used my vintage tool so that the show can be a little shorter. I've got my Whitley Neal that I'm going to be tasting, and I'm putting it straight into a drink. How's that? This drink needs warming up. So I'm going to put a 50ml measure. It was 45 back in the day, but I'm getting older and I have a drier palate than I did back then. This guy comes down. Have a little taste of the gin, bit of gin face in the afternoon. Now, sugar syrup. What did I do with my Funkin? Oh no, there's no Funkin. I've Funkin used all my Funkin. This is Funkin unbelievable. Right, give me one moment. Alright, I would normally be putting sugar syrup in there, but of all the things, nay sugar syrup. I'm going to try this in it. Let's see how this works out. Oh, not even open. So this is Funkin Citric. I'm guessing it's a citric syrup. Yep, it's going to be too acidic. No. Whatever. I'm going to put it in there. I know how to reverse it in my brain. The normal recipe would ask for, yay, my hero. What a panic station. Hello. All right, would ask for 20 mils. Thank you, Baba. All right. Here we go. Thank God for that. Right, so save the day. It was inside because I was making drinks inside. Right, so there's that. Give this a quick shake. All right, lucky that ice was as cold as it was. And fix that. All right. Now, soda water. The soda water in this drink needs to come out of the fridge at the absolute last minute. You do not want the soda water hanging about because the colder it is, the closer the carbon dioxide is to a liquid form and the longer it'll stay in the actual water, right? This one, I like to strain off all the mint as much as I possibly can. This drink's actually benefits massively from using clarified lime juice, which I did for the first time in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, with Niels. He invited me over there on the Martini cycling trip. Right. Now, gonna add about 35 mils of soda. So that should be the right amount. I don't know how much ice I need for that, but I'm gonna make an educated guesstimate. right? And that looks pretty good. Now, I like to put a tiny pierce into the center of the cucumber and then make it the mint like a flag, which isn't going to happen very well with this mint because it's super baby. And then it sits neatly there. Also, key to this, give these a little bit of bruising and then the oils come out and you get loads more aroma from it. You can also spray it with absinthe, but I don't like to do that. I want the absinthe to be hidden. It's written on the menu when I sold this, and it was popularized massively at Press Club, but 2006, 2007. The only person that remembers selling loads of them was Zach. Zach DeGitt was working there, and he come back to me and said, like, dude, you did the West Side Story, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that drink sold loads. So, you know, it worked. Before I taste that, I'm going to taste this, though. Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, I remember that flavor. That's really nice. It's kind of very light, very easy to drink. It's got obvious citrus note. It's going to work really well in that. I have to taste it again without. I smell the mint on my fingers. Amazing. Thank you so much for sending this to me, guys. This, I think for my mind, it's telling me that this would work really well in cocktails that you would usually use like a Tanqueray Plymouth in. It's very light, it's very approachable, but it's got enough backbone to it, enough of that juniper backbone to it to work really well in some classics. Right, so thank you. This one, West Side Story. Let's have a look. Does it look okay from this angle? Right. I'm so glad Electra turned up with the sugar syrup, because this, surprisingly, you get a fair whack of citric acid from it. I know, right? Stop doing that. So what is it? Funkin Pro Syrup range contains no artificial colors or preservatives, cocktail syrups crafted for use in general drinks and food. Sherbet Shot is a recipe on the back. It's got 0.03 grams of salt, 67% sugar, or 67 grams per 100 mils of sugar. But where does it break down the citric acid? Okay, yeah, citric acid, like 21%. Or is that 2.1? Yeah, cool. So that's actually quite, I might make a drink with this straight after. So there's that. Let's see what happens. I want to just see what happens. If we can get the proportions right. So you got gin, sugar with citric acid in it, right? You're making a Collins. Will this work? I'm going to give it a stir so it's mixed evenly, and then use the rest of that soda. Is it enough acid that it will work? Let's see. Oh yeah, I won't put an accent on it. It works. It's not the same as the Collins. It's missing flavor, but it balances out nicely. Let's see what happens. No. A tiny bit of Italicus. Right, this could be like the most budget conscious drink ever. Oh, much better. That's really nice. You get a like sherbetiness from the citric. I'm gonna play with that more. Sorry, I got distracted. Just had to find out what it does. Right, back to West Side Story. One of my favorite drinks. Love this thing, and it was traditionally served up. Well, the South Side is South Side cocktail is served up. As far as I know, a lot of people make it with lemon, but mine obviously I lengthened it out because it was tropical island. It was always way too warm, so you kind of needed to lengthen everything out. And that, my friends, is the show. That's like the whole thing. I was going to try to show you as well, like, the new setup, but I might leave that for tomorrow. Oh, yeah, also, anyone who's interested, tomorrow, tune in, because I'm dedicating the entire show tomorrow, right? Ready? The entire show tomorrow is going to be dedicated to the Pornstar Martini. I've got Pornstar Martini premix cans. I've got Pornstar Martini premix bottles. I'm gonna get Douglas Anchor himself's recipe for the Pornstar Martini. Ladies and gentlemen, Douglas Anchor will be making my Pornstar Martini for me tomorrow for the show. How good is that? Like, literally, like, it's like Douglas himself, the guy that created the Pornstar Martini, is making my Pornstar Martini for me tomorrow. So you'll get the legit recipe, right? No more London Bartenders Association. Every week, someone asks what's the original spec. You're going to find out here on this show, right from the horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This has been the Dean Callan Show and Cabin Fever. I hope you have a nice day, night. And I'm so pumped for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the best show ever. It's just going to be so good. Like legendary good. Like, well, maybe not legendary good, but for someone that's been doing this for 2 weeks, pretty good, right? That's the plan.